In this video, we are going to show you 3 methods used for calculating the actual labor value of a timesheet. The actual labor value represents how much a timesheet is worth, so you can manage your estimated versus actual labor values. Watch the Understanding Labor Calculations video for more information. Each option is managed under a single field in the BOQ item. This field is called Charge Out Rate Used. The 3 options available in this pick list handles different scenarios to produce the most accurate calculation. BOQ item rate, rate table, and resource rate. The Charge Out Rate Used field does not change the estimate value or impact invoice values. You can only invoice what was included in the contract from the estimate. If you want to invoice customers' time and materials used, watch the Do and Charge video for more information. The Charge Out Rate Value field calculates the value of timesheets to help you identify if the labor was under or overestimated. This helps you identify actual labor rates, potential variations, and lost revenue. Each option in the Charge Out Rate Used field performs a different calculation. Different options can be used on the BOQ items. You can also change the option selected at any stage of the job. If you need to change the option selected on a BOQ item, the timesheets link can be automatically recalculated using the Timesheet Reconciliation widget. This means you can experiment with the different methods used to calculate the labor value. Let's look at the 3 options, likely scenarios for each one and the calculations they perform. I'm going to use 3 BOQ items to demonstrate the scenarios. The first one is the 40 hours of project management at $180 per hour. The second one is site preparation, which is a subcontractor quote of $1,500. And the last one is to purchase 3 doors at $450 each. First, let's assume we have selected the BOQ item rate in the Charge Out Rate Used field. In each of these items, you can see the unit price, but only the project management was quoted as labor. If the project manager submits an 8-hour timesheet, the actual labor value is accurately calculated as the unit price of $180 times 8. This means the actual labor value of the timesheet is $1,440. If we look at the other 2 items and apply the same logic, let's assume that Peter Johnson submitted a timesheet on these 2 tasks. The Charge Out Rate Used applies the BOQ item rate. This means its unit price times by the timesheet hours. In this scenario, the actual labor value is incorrect, as the unit price doesn't represent the labor rate. To calculate the correct labor value for the site preparation, we are going to change the Charge Out Rate Used field to Rate Table. For Item 2, the product or service linked to the BOQ item is general labor. This means we can use a rate table. A rate table matches the job role of the resource and the product or service of the BOQ item and applies the relevant rate. Each job can have a unique rate table that matches what labor rates used in the estimate. If a project manager is required to work on a general labor task, then the rate tables can specify how their timesheet value is calculated. If it uses the project management rate or the general labor rate. In this example, the rate table assigned to the job has a rate of $70 per hour. It matches the resource's job title with the product associated to the BOQ item, which is linked to the project task. The rate table option in the Charge Out Rate field could have been used on the project management BOQ item also. This would have correctly assigned the rate of $180 per hour. Both the rate table and the BOQ item rate works for this scenario. Now let's move to the third scenario. The product linked to the BOQ item is a material item and not a service or job title. Rate tables are not used for materials. They are only used for labor and services. Generally, timesheets are not logged against material items, but circumstances may change, such as a delivery being cancelled and the project manager driving to collect the doors. In this situation, you may want that time costed to the correct BOQ item. As the BOQ item rate cannot be used to calculate the labor value, and rate tables do not apply to material items, the labor is calculated using the resource rate. This scenario retrieves the billable rate from the resource record. Peter Johnson is a project manager and his current rate is $180 per hour. This value is used to calculate the labor value on the timesheet. Resource rates could have been used for the first scenario, but only if the project management on this job was estimated at the same rate. As each estimate can have different pricing, the charge-out rate has better accuracy when rate table or the BOQ item option is selected. Now on all three scenarios, we have the accurate labor value for every timesheet submitted. Watch the budget video to see how to track your estimated versus actual values on all BOQ items.